All right, let's talk about one of the most amazing comeback stories in modern city planning. We're heading to Glasgow to see how it took its struggling inner city and completely turned things around. This is a real masterclass in urban regeneration, so let's get right into it. Yeah, not too long ago, those three words really summed up parts of Glasgow's heart. After its massive shipbuilding industry faded away, huge areas, especially right along the River Clyde, were just left behind. They became places of industrial rust, high unemployment, and a lot of social problems. So that's the massive question facing the city's leaders, right? It's a huge challenge. I mean, what do you even do when the very engine that powered your city just grinds to a halt? How do you turn all that blight into opportunity? Well, Glasgow's answer was to go right back to where it all started, the River Clyde. But this wasn't just some quick fix. We're talking about a massive, long-term plan to reclaim its iconic waterfront. And this whole thing was called the Clyde Waterfront Program. You've got to understand, the scale of this was just huge. This wasn't about putting up one new building. Nope. This was a multi-billion-pound vision to transform miles and miles of old, forgotten docklands into a brand new, vibrant part of the city. So, what was the vision? Well, it was about creating a place where people could actually live, work, and play. That meant new homes and offices to bring people in, sure, but also world-class tourist attractions, beautiful parks and green spaces, and, this is key, tying it all together with much better transport links. Okay, so a huge piece of the puzzle was changing how people saw Glasgow. The city needed to become a destination, a place people actually wanted to go. And that meant moving past that old industrial image and building something bold, something new, right there on those empty docks. And boy, did they make a statement. First up was the Riverside Museum, designed by the absolute legend, architect Zaha Hadid. Look, this wasn't just a place to see old cars and trains. It was a stunning piece of architecture meant to shout to the world, hey, look at the new Glasgow. And then came this, a real game changer, the SSE Hydro. When it opened back in 2013, this massive arena was designed for one thing, to bring the biggest names in music, the biggest conferences, the biggest sporting events right to the city's waterfront. A straight-up investment in Glasgow's future as an entertainment powerhouse. And you know what? It worked. Immediately. Every single event brings in thousands of people. We're talking up to 13,000 visitors flooding into the area. And what do those visitors do? They spend money in hotels, restaurants, shops, creating this massive economic ripple effect that supports jobs all over the city. So you see, these weren't just pretty buildings to look at. They were strategic economic engines. We're talking about creating thousands of jobs, helping drive a huge increase in tourism, and completely reshaping Glasgow's image on the world stage. It gave the whole city this incredible new sense of pride. But listen, a city's comeback can't just be about shiny new concert halls and tourists, right? It has to be about the people who actually live there. So, the next part of the strategy got right to the heart of some deep-seated social problems, especially housing. Okay, let's take a look at a district called the Gorbals. For decades, this place was infamous for its terrible housing. Overcrowded, damp, just plain unhealthy. It was the source of so many social issues, and it was a problem that needed to be ripped out at the root. And the solution they came up with was truly transformative. They tore down the old, crumbling tower blocks and replaced them with high-quality, modern homes. But, and this is so important, they empowered community-led housing associations, giving local people a real say. The result? A massive improvement in people's health and their overall quality of life. And it wasn't just about fixing old neighborhoods. The plan also created brand new communities, literally from scratch. You had these huge developments like Glasgow Harbor that took polluted, abandoned docklands and turned them into these really desirable waterfront neighborhoods. This brought thousands of new people right back into the city center. Okay, so you can build all this amazing stuff, but if people can't get to it, what's the point? The city is still divided. The River Clyde was basically a giant wall running through the city. So the next absolutely crucial step was to stitch the north and south banks back together. And they moved fast. In what felt like no time at all, a whole series of new bridges started popping up. You had the Clyde Arc, which everyone calls the Squinty Bridge, opening for cars in 2006. Then in 2009, the Tradeston Bridge, the squiggly one, opened just for people on foot. And after that, even more links for walking and cycling were added. And the thinking behind this is so simple, but it's just so powerful. A bridge does more than just cross a river. It builds a community. It connects people to jobs, to schools, to shops. And it lets that buzz, that investment from one side, flow over to the other, spreading the benefits all around. So here we are. After decades of work and billions of pounds, what's the verdict? Is Glasgow a city transformed? Well, without a doubt, yes. But with a change this big, you have to start asking some tough questions. And you can really see two sides to this coin. On the one hand, you just can't argue with the successes. Derelict land is clean, thousands of jobs have been created, the streets are safer, and the housing is so much better. But then there's the other side. This kind of success brings up those tricky questions, right? Who's really benefiting from all this? Are the people who lived there for generations now being priced out? It brings up that big, scary word, gentrification. And as the analysis we're looking at points out, these aren't just minor quibbles. They are a core part of the discussion. The story of Glasgow's comeback isn't just a simple success story. It's also a complex lesson about what urban change really means in the 21st century. And that leaves us with this one final, really important question. Glasgow's story is a powerful example of what's possible when a city has a bold vision. But it's also a vital reminder that the ultimate measure of success isn't just in the buildings we create, but in the communities we sustain. Thanks for watching.